Alright, class, settle down. Quickly now. So, today we're going to talk about the legend of St. George. Have you guys heard of St. George before? Anyone? جورج please شيل العلكة من تمك وركز معنا شوي. Yes, we have one in our class and many more across Lebanon. And well, that's just because St. George is the patron saint of Beirut. And he actually slayed the dragon, yes, right here in Beirut. Yes, Rita?
Is a dragon like a dinosaur?
No, Rita. Dinosaurs are mythological creatures we tell you about to scare you and keep you well behaved. On the other hand, dragons are real. Besides, they're way cooler because they breathe out fire. And some of them can actually fly, I think. Anyway, back to the story. So this terrible monster would periodically rise up from a well not far from Nahar Beirut and terrorize the poor residents. He made their lives miserable. The city would often go through power blackouts because our giant lizard enjoyed nothing more than munching on electric wires. Imagine that? And yes, as you can see, we're still repairing the damages till this very day. The internet also suffered. Download speeds became abysmal. Good luck trying to watch the latest viral video. The dragon would also routinely destroy all the crops. Not one single genetically modified soybean survived. But the worst part must have been the potholes. Okay, good. The lights are back on. His giant feet left big depressions on the roads all across the city. Driving to work each day was like an off-road adventure. Seriously. As you can imagine, the inhabitants of Beirut were fed up. So they took to the streets in a large angry protest and blocked all traffic for weeks on end. They unintentionally figured out an ingenious way to recycle used tires. Yes, they burned them right in the middle of the roads to create toxic flaming barricades, which would eventually eradicate the whole tiger mosquito population in the city. Thank you, rebels. Viva la revolución. They also held hands in a long human chain, danced dabke under the rainbow for world peace, and drew unicorns on public property. Not even the Malona virus could keep them off the streets. Sure, the residents themselves became hostages in their own city, and the fragile economy completely collapsed. But hey, you have to lose some to win some, right? I don't think they got that right. They demanded that the Prime Minister come to an agreement with the dragon. I mean the king, obviously not the Prime Minister, because we had a king back then, with a big mansion, a pool, escort girls, and everything. The solution? Every month, the city had to offer one of its most beautiful girls or one of its most prized young men to the dragon in return for some peace and quiet. Actually, it wasn't the first time, nor would it be the last the city sacrificed its own children. I mean, our Phoenician founding fathers did it with style, and we're still quite good at it today. So anyway, this went on until it was the king's turn to give up his daughter and offer the princess to the dragon. But at that point, she was still studying abroad in Britain for her master's or her PhD or something. So eventually they had to squeeze in a few more commoners until she finally returned to Beirut. When the time had come, she was dressed up like a bride in a long white dress and sent off to meet her fate. But right before the dragon could consume her, our hero appeared and saved the princess. It was an epic battle. Actually, I have a little surprise for you. I know I'm pretty and all, but how much longer can I hold your attention without some sort of visuals, right? Well, luckily, at that exact moment, someone just happened to be passing by and filmed the whole thing with a mobile phone. Would you like to see this historical treasure?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Unfortunately, the footage was lost. Sorry.
Oh.
What did you expect? It happened some thousands of years ago. But with the help of German experts, we've managed to recreate the scene exactly the way I imagined it. So without further ado, yes, I was doing the sound effects the whole time because obviously it was a silent movie.
Then why is it in color and not in black and white?
I'm running out of stickers, Rita. You're so bright. Naturally, it was tainted by hand, frame by frame, old school style. 12 frames for every second to be exact. A laborious undertaking, but well deserved. You saw the result. It's a masterpiece, right? The video's available for sale. You can get your copies after class and tell your parents it's mandatory. So anyway, some people say the dragon was later dragged behind a car through the streets of Beirut for that extra humiliation. Like in a victory parade of sorts. Yes, that would have been animal cruelty, obviously. Very barbaric. So no, instead, our giant lizard was simply put back into the well and a cement cover was set in place to keep it locked up for all eternity. That was the plan anyway. But over time, the concrete seal started deteriorating because, as usual, the contractor had obtained the job through a corrupt politician. So to offset the commission, he botched the job, the typical scenario. Which meant, from time to time, the dragon still showed its ugly face around Beirut. Like a phoenix, it kept resurrecting over and over again, no matter the number of times it was destroyed. They even erected a large statue in its honor right in the middle of the city. It's still there now, I think. Perfect timing. We needed a St. George then, and we need a St. George now still to save us from all this mess.
Miss,
Yes, Sarah?
where exactly in Beirut is this well?
Good question. Well, they built your beautiful school right on top of it.